So I've been talking about methods where you can do a better phenotyping, and I called it precision metabolic and nutritional phenotyping. So why do we do that? It's very easy these days to collect genetic information. You just need a little bit of DNA that you can get from buccal cells, and you run an exome sequencing exercise or you do whole genome sequencing. But what is the other side of the phenotype when you want to link genetics to phenotype? What I demonstrated is that we respond quite differently even if we pre-select volunteers to be as homogeneous as possible, almost like twins. And you put them in an environment where you stress them, for example, with 36 hours of fasting, or where you feed them with a glucose tolerance test, or you give a mixed meal, then you suddenly see how much different the seemingly identical looking volunteers can become. And that is a really interesting exercise. So I talked about the buffering capacity of metabolism, but if you put the system under pressure, you suddenly see in time and in space how much different the volunteers are. And what makes it even more interesting if you do such a type of very deep phenotyping is that you can identify easily in a cohort of 100 or 1,000 people 2 or 3 clusters where people behave similarly but different, group 1 and group 2. And more interestingly, if you take group 1 or group 2 and put them in an intervention program where, for example, you have a weight loss of 5 or even more kilos over a couple of weeks or months, you suddenly see that the one cluster responds with beneficial effects on metabolism, whereas the other cluster does not respond. So taken together, that is a huge effort in terms of better phenotyping the people. Look for their response to food intake, look for their response to fasting conditions, but at the same time allowing to identify metabotypes, which means people that are distinctly different in terms of their response in time and space to the same challenges. And then based on this better phenotyping, you can also do the intervention studies more systematically and of course more in terms of the outcome.